Good afternoon, traders. A little mid-afternoon update, and kind of showing you yet again how this is level one too many. This is another gap fill right here, and it was just a matter of time. But I want you to pay a little closer attention down here. This is the volume. So you got a market that opened up 70 handles higher on another PPI data, and this is again once dragged overnight and into the opening. And you know, you got to say to yourself at these levels is how much higher can we go, and what is my probability of success of taking a long up here? And that's how you got to look at this. Not saying that the market isn't relevant and that it shouldn't be able to push higher, but when they give you openings like this, although this one was brutal in nature, but the force with which this one came out was not even challengeable. In fact, I remember this day because I didn't make a trade, and they came off, and I think the low that day was the highest resistance points, and it don't get much more bullish than that. Sometimes you just have to stay away. So that we'll deal with right down here. This is the remainder of the gap that I spoke about in my previous videos. So you got one today, right in the afternoon. That was a gift for those who took the short. They didn't. They made you fight. It was a fighter's day. They sat and they sat. They tried to push them a couple of times. They were in a tight range. I think they made an early low of 40.10, and they bounced hard up to 32, which is not too far from the high, or at least the opening opening range. And I think from there it was all she wrote. I don't know if something came out, but they went down hard and fast, and you can see they've already filled the gap, made a new low at 62, and they bounced. So we're just have to see where they go from here. But I think what I'm trying to prove is that you got to be rational in your thinking about trading this and not be too aggressive and get too caught up in the hype. Obviously, you want to be long and take that. You want to take advantage of the trend, but you want it when it's worthy of the trade. And up here, it isn't. That's why you have to think the opposite and buck the trend and wait for failure and confirmation of that failure. It came a little later, but it is what it is. It's not a perfect science. In fact, you can see here that R1, or actually, it was a tight range yesterday. It was actually R3. They might have gotten up to today. I'll have to look at this a little later. That was your high today. And there's a perfect example of what I talk about with extreme trading. It's the highest resistance for this particular session, and they jammed them up there, and you wait for confirmation of a reversal back through that price. It didn't break way super hard, but it provided a bunch of great short opportunities until eventually you got the golden goose that came later. But that's how you got to look at the at trading it up at these levels. I know it sounds the opposite of what you're thinking, but sometimes you have to fade and fade what the room is doing. And a lot of this are retail traders. Like I said, low volume rally. So we'll see where this thing closes. It's not about where it opens, it's where it closes, I often say to traders. And, more importantly, I tell them never chase. Make sure you have a game plan every morning and stick to it, and wait for your opportunities. Don't get caught up in all the movement, it can drive you nuts. So this is today. This is the 15th, and I'm going to show you last is this, like I said in earlier videos, I just kind of think that this is the extreme. This is the 200 at 40.77 and a humongous trend line up here at 41.20. So, and possibly look, you could see what we're establishing right here in a bigger picture is the flag right now that we're in. And this could just consolidate, like I thought. Maybe, I don't know where it's going to do. I don't know if this. Listen, it's a little overdone, and there's some room down here. So you're gonna have to pay attention where this thing closes. Anything under 39.15 right here, this MA right there, which I believe is well, that's not helpful. Well, I got to change that. Bear with me. Nonetheless, this is probably the 100. I got to believe the 100 MA. So this is going to be if you get an ugly looking close, and you can see right now we're pushing the lows again. So how are we going to keep it up here on low volume? What are we doing up here? I get it. There's optimism, and all these numbers are coming in better, but that's what these higher rates were supposed to do from the get-go. And I just think this is kind of the new market these days. There's just a lot of players, and there's a lot of aggressiveness, and sometimes a little bit over aggressive. So you got to be careful how you trade, pick and choose your spots. But this is today's update, guys. Have a great day.